Hi guys,
Yeah.
name is Sandy, and we have Cindy, and we were raised on Bryant Street, right by the Viaduct.
Things that I remember living down there was all the kids. We moved when I was 4, but I still remember all the kids. We were swarming around the neighborhood in little groups, and we'd go to the parks. At that time, you could go without your parents and just go in a group. And the little store there, and there was a junkyard that we used to play in, and a pickle factory. You could tell the story about the pickle factory.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We were right by Bear Stadium, but you had all of our family, all the Mirandas, and then the Rodriguezes, which were our grandparents, and then you had part of my mother's family, which was the Valdez family, and they lived right across the street from the pickle factory. And there was one time that a whole neighborhood full of kids got really sick from eating too many pickles. And I won't tell you what kind of sickness, but from then on, our folks really kind of watched us from going there and eating so many pickles.
So how did you get the pickles? Was it someone bringing them home that worked there?
They had barrels of them.
And they would just hand them out.
Yeah.
So, and we'd be walking around with big pickles in our hands. So,
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. We just ate them all the time. And we roamed anywhere we wanted to go because there's just groups of us kids.
and it was safe at that time. So,
Yeah.
anyway, we thought it was safe.
Was it safe that everyone knew each other? Was there like a sense of strong community? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well,
Yeah.
of course, like I said, the Miranda families, it was my dad and my uncle. They were the two brothers that were born right by Rudy Park. And my father was born in a closet. My grandma couldn't make it to the hospital. But tell me how Dad got his name.
Oh, yes. My grandmother, she came from Mexico. And she, right before my dad was born, she became a U.S. citizen. She had gone to classes and she learned how to speak English, and she was so proud of that. She named my dad after Uncle Sam of America. So
His name's Sam.
his name's Sam, and that's why she named him Sam, because she had just become a citizen.
Did she move right to West Denver from Mexico?
No, they lived somewhere in Arizona, I think it was. And then they moved over near Wheat Ridge, Colorado, and then to the west side. And she, at the time, my grandma had left. Well, my grandfather took off. And so she moved in with her father in the west side, with my uncle and my dad. So,
And they grew up in the West Side.
Okay, so what year was that roughly?
oh my gosh, I bet it
It was before the flood, way before.
was in the 1930s.
Yeah. Yeah. When they were born. And we were raised on Bryant Street right before the flood. And I must have been about 6 years old when we moved to Thornton.
Yeah, I think so.
But other than that, it was a great neighborhood to grow up in.
And after we moved quite a ways from there, but we would always come down and play with our cousins. And we had so many cousins that really weren't our cousins, but that's what we called them because our parents were so close. Yeah, and we called them auntie and uncle, and
So we had a lot of fake auntie and uncles and
cousins, and
fake
but
cousins.
we were incredibly close to them. So,
Take me back to some of the spots the kids would go to together. You guys mentioned the pickle factory. Where else would you go? Would you go to Sloan's Lake? Would you go to like the rivers or like another restaurant? Would you go to
We were always at Rudy Park.
And there was the Star Bakery there. We liked going to the Star Bakery and getting pumpernickel bread.
It smelled so good.
Oh, yes. So, but you know, we didn't venture far from that area. You kind of just stood within that area. So,
Yeah, we just had all of our cousins there. And
there was a church, St. Catherine's Church, which is now part of
Aurora.
Aurora. That's where most of us were baptized. And my dad was baptized there also. But now it's no longer a church there in that area. They moved it, but they kept the building as a historical monument. So,
But there's a lot more that we could think of, and I know that just being right here and it coming off, a lot of good memories, though. A lot of good memories. We had a lady across the street. Her name was Catalina, and she always would help my mom with us kids, and just had a lot of fun when you're 5 years old, 6 years old, and running around. You know, we did have a lot of toys or bikes or.
we played in a junkyard until we saw a rat, and I wouldn't go back in. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was one boy amongst all of us girls. That was my brother Sam. Loves him in heaven. But he was the terror of the neighborhood. So we miss him.
What's a good story about him?
He was in the junkyard, actually. And he was crawling out of it. And he got his pant leg on a picket fence. He fell off the fence and he broke his leg. When my mom went to get him, he was so dirty. She gave him a bath before she took him to the hospital. But we remember that pretty vividly. And he went to the hospital after he had to take a bath. So,
He was always very mischievous, getting in trouble, hurting himself.
yeah.
And I think, wasn't it kindergarten? They sent him back. They weren't going to let him enroll because he was so ornery. So,
And that was at Fairview.
Fairview.
Was the school, was it a good school? What was the school like?
I don't remember.
You know, I went to kindergarten there, but I just remember it being so big, but I was so young, you know. And we were away from my mama. We were very tight with our mothers. And our daddies, you know, they worked.
And played softball.
Yeah, they played ball and they partied a lot. That's where us kids get it. But yeah, other than that, we're all here, and we're just all good friends. And we've been together with friends are forever since we were pumpkins.
Where did you guys work at? And what kind of experiences did they have where they worked?
It was different areas. My dad was in construction. He was a butcher. A lot of different things.
Eventually retired from tours.
Yeah.
So,
But we ended up, he was able to save money, or we ended up in Thornton before the flood. But I remember going to the Luceros, and they had so much mud in their house, and just having to clean through and stuff. So
Yeah, take us back to that day. Try to, tell it as vivid as the details you can.
we had our new house, and all of the Luceros, the Mirandas, the Dominguezes, they all came to our new house in Thornton because they had to evacuate.
and I remember being scared because our dads went to the Colfax Viaduct and they were up there watching the flood hit the town of Denver, the bottoms. And that terrified me, thinking of them being out there during the flood, but they had to go watch.
Yeah, but that's all we remember.
What was it was like just raining super hard, or how did that?
It's super hard and long time.
Yeah.
So, and it just kept coming down and coming down.
What if, in terms of the aftermath, tell us about when you
Oh,
saw
it took all the houses. A lot of the houses on Bryant were gone. It just demolished everything.
And I remember once going to Lucero's house, and it seemed like everything in their house was gone, and the mud was about that high in their house. But that's all I remember
And
about
then
it.
trying to clean it out.
Yeah.
So, thank goodness we weren't here.
Yeah. But they eventually moved back,
Yes.
so that surprised me.
how long were they staying with you guys for? How many people were staying?
Oh my God, we had beds all over bedrooms in the front room. And those kids had a blast.
Yeah, they were playing.
The parents were upstairs because we had our new house. But we were so young, we didn't know really what was going on. But
Yeah.
we knew it just took everything. I remember the time that we would go up to Tiny Town and camp up there, and we thought we were in the mountains.
It was a big trip, and everybody would go.
And nobody had tents. We all slept in cars. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We thought we were pretty high in the mountains. And now I live past Tiny Town.
I'm gonna go get Teresa real quick.
But
Stay
other
there.
than that, that's all I got to say for now.